We Americans love our sports. March Madness is a part of the nation's vocabulary, and society effectively gets put on hold once a year for Super Bowl Sunday. Youth sports are seen as an essential part of a healthy American childhood and are credited with everything from fighting child obesity to teaching values like teamwork and respect. But like many important parts of American culture, sports have a history of being less than welcoming to women. For every inspiring image like Brandi Chastain pulling off her shirt and celebrating her World Cup win, there is another one that reminds women that the world of athletics was once completely closed off to them. And while measures such as Title IX have helped women participate more freely in sports, the way that athletes are portrayed in the media is still heavily influenced by that athlete's gender. Athletic clothing powerhouses such as Nike and Adidas have large marketing departments and often endorse top athletes and celebrity figures with multi-million-dollar deals. This video will categorize three types of people featured in those commercials: the everyday athlete, the celebrity, and the sports star. The everyday athlete is usually unnamed. Oftentimes, he or she says nothing throughout the commercial. But the person is consistently physically fit to some degree. This is unsurprising. If regular clothes are advertised by a single body type, that would likely only be more exaggerated in the world of sports, where your body type is the first way you communicate yourself to your opponent. But there is a cap on the physical fitness in the everyday athlete. Women are kept lean and slim, and rarely have large muscular figures. Many of these characters are also children or teens, so they don't look very imposing either. The everyday athlete is intended to remain relatable to an everyday audience. She should look fit but not frightening, dedicated but not obsessed. And of course, if she is muscular, well, how could she possibly look desirable? Next, there is an interesting movement to make athletic wear products accessible to all, a movement exemplified by this Adidas campaign.
Takes guts. Calling all creators.
By calling all creators instead of calling all athletes, Adidas invites everyone to relate to their brand. Other companies work towards this goal by collaborating with figures from other industries such as fashion and music. The coverage of these celebrities is heavily gendered. Ads featuring The Weeknd and Chance the Rapper focus on their faces and take full body shots. Meanwhile, Puma's video of Rihanna follows a male gaze, focusing on her breasts, her stomach, her back, and her neck. An Adidas advertisement featuring Karlie Kloss breaks gender norms by showing her sweating and working hard, but it retreats back into shots of her smiling and interacting playfully with the camera. The same biases seen in coverage of the everyday athlete and of the celebrity appear time and time again with sports stars as well. Naturally, many female sports stars do have muscular figures. However, the difference in cinematography persists. Commercials will slow down the twirl of Serena Williams' skirt while focusing on Roger Federer's hands and Tom Brady's dripping sweat. Voiceovers play an important part in these commercials as well. In this Nike ad, Simone Biles' mother reassures us that Simone is always having fun.
And she's very driven, she's very focused, but she likes to have fun.
And this Under Armour commercial of Misty Copeland drew sharp criticism.
The systemic structure built to keep me in place is the stage I dance on. Black and woman.
YouTube commenters begged to know why a man was speaking about being a woman. In this category of advertisements, the only female voiceovers that were not done by famous athletes usually only exist in advertising campaigns geared towards women. There is one interesting consequence of filming commercials with famous celebrities and athletes, though. When watching such videos, it becomes clear that these women are presented across a spectrum of femininity. This is a caveat of featuring famous people. Fans idolize them, and asking them to present in any other way than the way they normally do would cause a huge uproar. That does raise a new question, though. If women in athletic wear commercials dress to fill out a range of gender expression, why are all the men so overwhelmingly masculine? The omission of queer men is a straightforward example of what Tuchman refers to as symbolic annihilation. It is nearly impossible to find male sports stars who present in a feminine manner. When a male sports star fails to be hypermasculine, he is subject to vicious trolling and name-calling. This kind of situation sends a clear message to boys. Be a man, or you know what you have coming for you. And it is impossible to analyze sports advertising, or sports in America for that matter, without commenting on race. Notably, Black athletes are often depicted sprinting, lifting, and hitting in sports that require athleticism and power over skill. This reflects the situation described by Wilson and Gutierrez in terms of Black coverage. While representation of Black athletes has increased, it simply works to create another standard that is just as unrealistic as the previous one. And in a second example of symbolic annihilation, other people of color such as Hispanics and Asians are rarely, if ever, featured at all. Now let's return to the original topic of gender stereotypes in sports. Specifically, why do female athletes continue to be presented differently, and what does the persistent sexualization of women actually do to viewer perception? Several studies attempted to answer these questions. Fink, Kane, and Lavoie asked elite female student athletes whether they would want to be presented on court in an athletic setting or off court in an advertisement. 94% said they would want to be presented in a sports setting or in both situations, and 2/3 of all the respondents wanted to be presented on court only. With this in mind, it seems highly unlikely that the decisions to be portrayed in a sexual manner are the sole decision of female athletes. In terms of what effect this type of advertising has on viewers, one study showed adolescent boys pictures of various women, performance athletes, sexualized athletes, and sexualized models. In general, respondents remarked on the performance athletes' athletic skill and focused on the physical attractiveness of the sexualized athletes and models. A second study showed images of performance athletes and sexualized athletes to a wide audience and asked participants to rate the subject's competence. It was found that athletes portrayed in a sexualized manner were ranked lower, and this effect was usually greater for female athletes. It is important to recognize that advertising and representation do have an effect on society. These studies both point to the conclusion that sexualization distracts from a woman's athletic performance, which creates the perfect vicious cycle. As people are more frequently exposed to sexualized female athletes, they become less likely to believe women are capable athletes. As that mindset takes hold, calls for equal advertising will diminish slowly as viewers stop seeing the inequality as an issue. As a society, we must be aware that our actions have consequences. While one advertisement may not have an outsized effect, lifelong exposure to harmful messages does. Athletic clothing companies need to be mindful of their power and increase not just the quantity of representation, but the quality as well. Thanks for watching.